I was sitting here watching a live on Facebook, and a preacher was, praying, and he began to say these words after me. Lord, stretch me, stretch my faith to a new place. And as soon as I was getting ready to say that, I said, "Oh, never mind. I got enough stretching that I'm doing right now. So let me get through this stretching that I'm going through right now. And then I'll think about being stretched later, because I'm still going through stretch. I'm still going through a whole stretching of my faith from words that God gave me years ago. So let me get through that stretching first, and I'll think about being stretched for another thing later." Um, my whole reasoning for saying that is because you got to be careful who you agree with, who, and nothing against the people that are speaking. You just have to be careful of what you agree to nowadays, or what you repeat, because then you'll wonder later on, like, why am I going through so much, and why is this happening, or whatever, because you asked God to stretch your faith. God won't do anything that you don't ask him to do. And sometimes you got to be careful what you pray, because God will do it. And it doesn't mean that he hates you. It doesn't mean that he dislikes you. But you ask for God to stretch your faith. So what do you think God is going to send to you? Or let me just put it this way, because y'all going to think, oh, you trying to say God is evil. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that you ask God to stretch your faith. What do you think that would mean? The only way you're going to stretch your faith is if you go through experiences to build your faith. If you honestly think that building your faith requires something easy, like, oh, I believe I can pick up this paper. Ooh, no. You're going to go through some trials, you're going to go through some tests to build your faith in certain areas that you are needing your faith built in. And I'll just leave it at that. All I'm saying is, I don't need to be stretched anymore right now. Let me get through the stretching of the word that God gave me already, and let it come to pass. Let me deal with that first before I ask for any more turmoil or any more trials. Because it's easy to say a prayer and say a couple words, but it's not easy when those words start hitting you to mold you, to make you the person that you're praying to God to be, or that God wants you to be. So it's easy to say those words, but when that process come, you gonna wish you ain't say those words. And that's just real. It ain't all doom and gloom, but it's real. So I don't know. That just stuck out to me when I was, listening to the guy pray, and I don't know what happened. It happened so quick. It was just like I was listening to him, and I'm on my laptop, and then I was getting ready. It was like soon as he said that, and I was getting ready to repeat. I had like this thing that just hit me in my head, said, like, wait a minute, no, we ain't saying that. Because we need to finish up what God is stretching us in now. I was watching Juanita Bynum the other day, and she was talking about how, people be coming up to her talking about, yeah, I got the word of the Lord and this, that, and the third. And she said, I be looking at them like, basically gave them the blank stare, like, you just don't know. This girl just don't know that she's about to go through a dryness in her finances for like 3 years or 2 years, 1 year, whatever. And she's about to lose her house. She's about to go through all of this stuff. And she here bopping and jumping like, oh, God gave me a word. Honey, I was jumping up and down when she said that, because I said that is so true. Because we get so happy about a word that God says we're about to get this 8-bedroom house, 2 cars, 3 businesses, is we're about to have this ministry, or we're about to make this, we're going to have this impact on the world. And y'all forget to sit there and pray after y'all get that prophecy, because you about to get hit with some things in order to be or fulfill that prophecy. If I tell y'all some of the things that I'm going through right now because of because of a word that God gave me, y'all will be like, what? What the hell is what the heck is going on with her? But all you can do is just go through the process, because you understand what God said. And it's not to say everybody will go through a process of suffering, but it's not even just a church thing or a churchy thing or a Christian thing or a God thing. This is real life. Anything you want, you're going to have to work hard for it. And it's not going to come to you easy. If it comes to you easy, then God bless you. But for people like me, I've never gotten anything easy. And it's something you got to walk through. And not only that, it's physically and emotionally draining sometimes. I don't know if people want to really admit that, but it's the truth. It can be very draining. So why would you want to add on more things to what you're going through? You trying to kill yourself? No. Take your time and go through one process at a time. I got enough prophecies to last me from here to Timbuktu. So before I make any more prayers or before I sit there and repeat after somebody to add on more stress to what I'm going through, I'm going to reevaluate that thing. Like, maybe I don't want to say that right now. It's nothing against the preachers, nothing against, anybody else who wants to pray that. Not me. Not right now. Thank you very much. But no, I'll call you. You don't call me. Leave a message after the beep. Beep. Because I'm like, I got to get through this first. Let me get through this first and see some results. Then we'll talk about adding on to the list of things, of building things, molding things, and all that good stuff. But yeah, you just got to be careful. Nothing bad, nothing wrong. And it's okay for you not to do that. You're not going to die. God is not going to kill you. I feel like if anything, God will see that as wisdom. You can only take on so many tasks at one time. It's not just spiritual because, I do believe in demons and angels and all of that stuff. And I do believe in demonic activity that comes to try to stop you. But it's not just that. It's a natural thing too. If you're doing like 10 jobs, you're eventually going to be tired and something's not going to get done. So in order to get your assignments finished, you got to prioritize and you got to do one thing at a time. And not only that, you want to live to be able to finish your assignment. A lot of us don't realize, again, the process can be very draining. So you should only take on one process at a time. Do one project at a time. Stop trying to be Superwoman. Stop trying to be Superman. Finish one project at a time. God will understand. People won't, but God will. You ain't got to rush. I got this image in my head just now about a computer. A computer can only do so much, right? But we keep banging the computer, pressing buttons, and we don't realize because we don't see this, but the computer has programmed or memorized every action that or every button that you've pressed and is trying to do everything you asked it to do. But you don't see that. All you're doing is banging on a computer and wondering why it's not working, or you're asking for it to look up something, or after you look up something, you're going to somewhere else, and you're wondering why your computer is moving slow or not working to the best of its capacity that it should be working in. And that happens because you haven't allowed the process of you haven't allowed the computer to process all that you asked it to do. Okay, still don't know where I'm going with this? Okay, let me break it down to you. The computer is trying to fulfill everything that you're asking it to do. Meanwhile, it's being backed up because you keep pressing the buttons instead of just being patient. And that's how human beings are. You continue to pray for certain things or continue to ask God to open up doors in certain places, or you just take on more than you could chew, and then now you're all stressed out. It's sort of like, again, with the computer, you see the buffering sign. You got like 5 videos buffering, and it's like, you should just do one at a time. It'll go quicker. But because you want to be finished and want to rush, your computer likely to crash. And people wonder why they're dealing with depression, why there's so much suicide, because people are taking on more than they can chew, both naturally and spiritually. You have to give a computer time to process all your commands. That's the same way in the spirit with a human being. You can't expect to get all of these words from God or get all of this knowledge about what you're supposed to do in the world and then expect for your mind to process it overnight. Some people are able to do that. Cool. But I think with everybody, in order to get to where you need to go, you have to go through some things to prepare for that. And just like people don't understand that you have to give your computer time to process all the commands that you just did by punching every number or letter on the keyboard or clicking everything on the desktop, you have to give yourself time to process or go through the process to prepare for your future. But as I was saying earlier, if you continue to agree with certain things or words or repeat words or say certain prayers that you're ignorant in saying, you're going to end up like that computer and crashing because you got so many commands that are trying to be fulfilled. And it's like, oh my God, I'm tired. I can't keep doing this. You're making me go crazy. You're burning out your brain. You're going to crash like your computer. You're eventually going to slow down because you're going to get tired spiritually and naturally. You're going to be drained and you're not going to be able to go forth, or you're going to always need somebody to pump you up or to come repair you, So it's like you have to take your time and go through the process and continue to watch your words and watch what you agree with and watch what you connect with. Because just like a computer, the more commands you add to a computer's memory to fulfill, the longer it takes for you to get to your original command that you were trying to get to. So if you continue to respond in your process by adding certain words or agreeing with certain things, the longer your process will be. So like I said before, to that guy's prayer, I don't think I'll be asking to be stretched anytime soon because I'm already being stretched. I'm not trying to be stretched thin. I'm trying to gain some weight. Thank you very much.